Good Tuesday afternoon, and thanks for joining us on Kare 11 News Now. I'm Lauren Lemanchek. There's less than 2 weeks left in the legislative session, and lawmakers are racing against the clock to pass key bills, including school safety legislation, which would ban assault weapons, provide money for violence prevention, and mental health services. While the bill passed the Senate 34-33, it has little chance of surviving in the House, as Republicans are pushing to keep mental health and school safety funding while contending the gun restrictions would be ineffective. Lawmakers are also expected to feel the push from advocacy groups. Tomorrow, Minnesota Families for Public Schools will be holding a rally at the Capitol, asking legislators to prioritize key bills that would provide compensatory aid and repeal cuts to special ed funding. Another heated issue coming before the House Taxes Committee today, funding HCMC. The bill lawmakers are considering would raise Hennepin County sales tax from 0.15% to 1%, with the revenue going towards the struggling hospital. Right now, we're getting a better look at what's to come for the city of Minneapolis. Just before noon, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey delivered his State of the City address. Frey began his speech by reflecting on challenges faced by the city, mentioning Operation Metro Surge and the tragedy at the Annunciation Church and School, and praising residents for supporting each other during those times. He went on to speak about public safety and gave an update on staffing for the Minneapolis Police Department.
Starting with public safety, because there is nothing more important or fundamental. People need to be safe and they need to feel safe. That requires a comprehensive safety approach, which in turn requires a fully staffed, fully functioning police department that delivers. The good news, and this is new, is we've seen over a 200% increase in applications to become a Minneapolis Police Department officer since we began our push for recruitment.
We do have a crew following along with the mayor's speech and getting reaction from other city leaders. We'll have even more tonight starting at 4. New numbers today, though, show how much the Minneapolis Police Department spent in overtime during Operation Metro Surge. Lou Ragoose breaks down that total.
From late November through the end of March, the Minneapolis Police Department spent more than $10 million on overtime and standby pay. That info in a report presented to the Minneapolis City Council by Chief Brian O'Hara after they asked for clarification on the overtime costs affiliated with Operation Metro Surge. During the busiest 5-week stretch, starting the day Renee Good was shot, MPD spent $6 million on extra staffing. Standby pay means officers who received half their hourly rate to be on call, fully ready to immediately report on scene within an hour. One council member, Aisha Chugtai, called the standby pay insane. Other council members like Michael Rainville and Jamal Osman complimented MPD for the work that they did trying to keep the peace during the federal action. Chief O'Hara is facing scrutiny because MPD was over budget by $17.6 million last year. He said this year, even with Operation Metro Surge, he believes overtime hours will be cut by 1/3 compared to last year.
This afternoon, the leader of the state's Department of Human Services is out of the top job. The Senate was supposed to hold Shireen Gandhi's confirmation hearing today until Governor Walz made that abrupt announcement. Gandhi says she will be staying on as deputy commissioner. Republicans say her departure opens the door for a reset, especially when it comes to tackling fraud.
We need focus, we need leadership, and we should have someone new in there who can just have a absolute culture change. No fraud, no excuses, and let's put this house in order.
Director of Medicaid, John Connolly, will take over as the temporary commissioner starting next month. Right now, he's on medical leave, wrapping up treatment for colon cancer. We're following new developments in the war in Iran today as U.S. forces are working to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. military says it sank 6 small Iranian boats after the United Arab Emirates said it was under attack from Iran. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest.
New attacks on oil tankers in the Strait of Hormuz, testing the U.S.-Iran ceasefire, with Iran targeting U.S.-flagged ships with drones, missiles, and small boats. U.S. Central Command says American attack helicopters ran interference, returning fire, and no U.S. ships were hit. Top Pentagon officials updating that since the ceasefire was announced,
they've attacked U.S. forces more than 10 times, all below the threshold of restarting major combat operations at this point. The threshold of restarting is a political decision above my pay grade. What I'll say is it's low harassing fire right now.
President Trump downplaying Iran's capabilities.
They're reduced to these small, little, fast ships that are very cheap, and they attach a machine gun to it. They think that's good. We knocked out 8 of them today.
The ramped-up aggression comes as the U.S. Navy is attempting to guide commercial ships through the strait under the president's new Project Freedom. CENTCOM says 2 U.S.-flagged vessels made it through Monday as American consumers feel the pain of that vital energy route being choked off, with gas prices up more than 30 cents in a week.
It used to be like $35 at full tank. Now it's like about $55.
I'm 58 years old and I've never seen gas prices like this that I can remember.
I'm on a fixed income, disability retirement, and this isn't fixed. This just keeps going up and up and up.
President Trump adamant the short-term pain is worth it.
I see it going down very substantially when this is over.
All amid a new potential pain point, with Iran again targeting its neighbor and U.S. ally, the United Arab Emirates. The UAE saying its air defenses shot down incoming Iranian drones and missiles, sending tensions soaring. One longtime oil industry analyst, Andy Lippow, estimates American consumers overall are spending roughly $1 billion more per day in higher fuel costs. More than half that increase comes from gas prices, but it also factors in higher jet fuel prices and other energy costs. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
A warning this afternoon for drivers in Chisago County. Deputies say someone has been throwing large rocks and motor oil from an interstate overpass onto passing cars. Just over the weekend, the Sheriff's Department says they got multiple calls about items being thrown from a bridge over I-35 and 530th Street near Rush City. Heidi Wigdahl has the latest on the investigation.
We are just off of 530th Street near Rush City, and this is an area where there have been reports of a person or people throwing items off of this bridge and striking vehicles on I-35.
A fun weekend took a turn for some drivers on I-35 when rocks were thrown from the overpass.
We're lucky to be alive. It was a boulder.
Bigger than a
sure.
watermelon, for sure.
Yeah.
Weston Willem and Carter Quiggle were coming home with their friends from a fishing trip up north just before 10 p.m. Sunday when they saw the boulder.
And it came up under my car. The car jumped off of the ground, and I just went right into the shoulder, and smoke started coming up.
The 17-year-olds say the whole road was covered in oil.
We went up to check it out, and there was cars hitting their brakes because they were sliding on the oil.
The rock hit me in the bumper, so another 4 feet, it could have been in through the windshield and into our laps.
Michael Sinnison was southbound on 35 when he noticed the car in front of him put their flashers on, then saw a bowling ball-sized rock.
It bounced right in front of my vehicle and then bounced up in through the bumper.
His 15-year-old sons had been taking turns driving.
Fortunately, they weren't driving at the time. Just don't know how a new driver would react to a boulder falling in front of you.
The Minnesota State Patrol says at highway speeds, even a small object can hit a car with significant force, putting everyone on the road at risk.
That's just crazy and stupid. Why? I mean,
who gets enjoyment out of throwing boulders off bridges and possibly killing somebody?
Yeah, there's been deaths of people doing that.
Fortunately, none of us got hurt. Just hopefully whoever it is can stop before anybody gets killed.
The Chisago County Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's help. Anyone with information should contact them. Reporting near Rush City, I'm Heidi Wigdahl, KARE 11 News.
This afternoon, an update to a story we first broke on Sunrise last week. Brooklyn Park police say they now have arrested a man at the center of a shooting that put a neighborhood under a shelter in place. It started last Monday just before 10 p.m. Police say a man fired shots in his home during a family dispute. Our crew saw SWAT teams and drones as neighbors were locked down. But officers say they found the suspect yesterday and arrested him. They say they also found the gun they believe he fired. Burnsville has named Matt Smith as its new police chief. A post on the city's Facebook page says Smith has been with the department for 24 years, most recently as deputy chief. This comes as Chief Tanya Schwartz announced she's retiring later this month. The city says Smith and Schwartz are now working together for a smooth transition. You may not have to mind your elbows and knees on your next Delta flight. Airline leaders say they're cutting drink and snack service altogether on all flights under 350 miles. That affects about 450 total flights, including Delta's route between MSP and Chicago O'Hare. According to the airline, rising fuel costs are part of the decision, but time constraints on those flights are the biggest factor. The changes take effect May 19th, but don't affect first-class passengers. So how much are you planning on spending on Mom this weekend? The National Retail Federation expects a record $38 billion in sales, or about $285 per person. They say the higher number's partly because of inflation, but that the people they surveyed are willing to spend more. Not surprisingly, flowers are the most popular spending category, with 75% of people saying they plan to buy them, followed by greeting cards, dining out, gift cards, and clothing. Stick with us. There's more news and weather coming up after the break.